Good evening and welcome to round 13 of the PSGL F1 League. And we are here from the magnificent Circuit of the Americas for the penultimate round of tonight's championship. And we managed to smuggle them across the Mexican border. Once again joining me is Luke Green, Greenylfc. Welcome back to the commentary box, my friend.
Yep, evening Venom. This track is a great spectacle in real life and in this game, as it's so close and quite a difficult circuit as well. So looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and also we have a special guest here, a fellow former PSGL F1 driver in Boywithnoface, but better known as Josh. Welcome aboard, Josh.
Thank you, Venom. Looking forward to the race this evening. I'll give my insight from the pit lane when required.
Excellent. Well, a good evening to everyone who's joined the chat already. I see some of the regulars, JPTV, Chillo, Ashbest, as usual, chilling in the chat before going racing. And I think one of you is echoing, by the way, because I can hear myself. So yeah, it's either Greeny or Josh, so if you can just check your levels there, that'd be great.
Will do.
Don't know.
Well, I will find out. Yep, perfect. Right then, so gonna have a quick look at the championship standings. Yeah, one of you is still echoing, sorry. You need to have the audio going through your headset, or if your TV's too loud or something.
I mean, mine's going through my headset always. Don't know. I could see if I turn the TV right down. Don't think it'll be that. It's not going through that.
Let's see how this is. Okay, well I'm going to try and carry on. I can still hear myself. That's really annoying.
How bad is it?
Well,
Are either of us echoing?
I mean, I can't hear any echo, and
No, I can't.
can you? I don't know. Maybe it's it might Venom. I don't know.
perhaps. But it's not it only happens when you're here, to be fair, Greeny. As we get the countdown for the 12-minute qualifying session, followed by 50% race distance of this 5.5 kilometer Circuit of the Americas. Now, in terms of the championship situation, it is of course the title battle between Mercedes and McLaren, Cliffy and Ashbest, an 8-point gap between the two. If Cliffy outscores Ashbest by 9 points this evening, he will be the PSGL F1 champion. Now the reason I say that is because Cliffy, because of his deficit in terms of race wins, winning the championship on a tie would be highly unlikely, unless, because if he wins one of the two races anyway, the championship is far less likely to be a tie at the end anyway, because Ashbest currently has 5 wins to Cliffy's 3. And in terms of the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes look very likely to take the Constructors' title tonight, but the Haas team, they will have to outscore Mercedes by at least 9 points to keep the battle in the teams alive. So just waiting for the game to load.
Yep, that'll be Maxi's second Constructors title as well. Winning
Indeed.
Season 17 with Jack and the Haas.
So, what is your thoughts on this circuit, Luke?
It's very, very high speed. Most of the corners, you know, they're leading to one another. So it's important to get the entry and exit right of each corner. Otherwise, if you mess it up, for example in the S's, you're going to pay the price across the entire lap. I think it's definitely going to throw up some surprises, because the 2-stop is an option. I don't think it's the fastest, but Formula Danny in AOR, who went on to win the championship, he managed to do it. So if you've got the pace, it's definitely worth the shot.
So no one opting to go at the moment on the super softs.
Ash isn't first on track for once. That's interesting.
So let's see who's out on track. It looks like is Skeevan, who's qualified really well recently, but has had some really bad luck with his connection this season. May have had a couple of podiums more than he got if he had actually managed to not had transmission failure, so to speak.
Yeah. Who's missing today? Not 15 drivers.
Let me see. Looks like, yeah. Did Pine leave the league already?
I think he's going to try and make it for Japan in one last race. But he's definitely leaving.
JP is wondering if I can do some Michael Buffer style announcements for all the drivers. No, because I'm not a 13-year-old child. We're going to keep it serious here. Although to be fair, if I had a voice like Michael Buffer, I probably wouldn't be doing this sort of commentary. As fun as it is, but Michael Buffer has an epic voice and he makes hundreds of millions of dollars off the back of it every single year.
I wasn't particularly a fan of the when they did it last season around here. It just took too long.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, for most sport it just doesn't really, it just seems a bit cliched. I mean, for boxing, yeah, it makes sense because it's supposed to be an over-the-top extravaganza like the Rocky movies. But enough about fictional movie characters. Let's head back to the qualifying. Just over 9.5 minutes to go. First banker laps coming up here. We're going to focus on Ashbest. What a time! Oh, and he has a quiet moment out of the final corner, and that's going to slow him down. So his first banker might have already been compromised. So let's see. Is Cliffy out on track? Yes, indeed he is. Let's have a look at Cliffy. He's crossing the line now. So Greeny, do you want to take us through a lap of the circuit of the Americas?
Yep. So riding on board with Ash. He needs to set up the S's, so he needs to go as tight to each of them as he can, don't switch down, and he's done that very well, but he's slid out wide, yeah, a lot of sliding there, quite a bit of understeer, and he needs to...
Sorry to interrupt you, but I meant Cliffy.
Oh, Cliffy.
I did say. He's gone through the S's in Sector 1.
Yeah. So he's now coming up, well he's already backed off, so we'll go back and come on with Ash then.
Okay, we'll go back.
He's on the DRS straight now, so he did 25.0 per sector, which is very reasonable for the first runs. And after this one he's in for the 100-metre braking point. And let's see if he does that. Yeah, clips that very well. Second gear. And now he needs to go wide and come for late apex into this corner.
Yeah, you can't get the staff these days. And the yellow flags in Sector 2. Or Sector 3 rather. Oh, someone's off, it's a Toro Rosso. Which Toro Rosso is that? It's that Skeevan. Skeevan, he's binned it.
And he had the fastest first sector of everyone as well.
Well, that's a potential. That is just before turn 13. 16, sorry.
Good lap. That's good.
Yeah, and I think because of that mistake Ashbest made just before he started it, I think he can get more time than that. Cliffy heading for the final corner now, so let's see what he can do in comparison. He's been practicing a lot, but yeah, invalidation on this first run, which has been a problem for him in recent qualifying sessions. So a quick question to Josh, what have you been doing of yourself without league racing this season, or have you been racing elsewhere since your race ban at Austria?
I've not. I've taken a break from league racing and even PSGL kind of activity around. This is my first appearance back, but I'm going to be rejoining one of the Sunday leagues next season. So.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
So
I've been stood next to the Ferrari garage in pit lane, and Muzio Bennett has been telling me that he's not confident about Big C's pace this weekend compared to usual.
Yes, Ferrari looking to become the 5th team in PSGL F1 this season to reach the 100-point mark. Ferrari made such a good start to the season, but their bid to be Constructors' Championship with that dream team of Jamie and Big C didn't materialise. It kind of vanished into thin air at the halfway points and they never recovered.
Just to mention, Cliffy's on a very good lap right now. This is definitely going to challenge Ash for the top spot.
Yes,
just in the final section.
I've been on board with Skeevan for the majority of the lap, and he has looked very fast. There was some real fighting talk from Cliffy after last week's race that he was going to put a lot more practice in and he's going to try and come back at Ashbest here. So let's see, he crosses the line and it's third place. Oogie Azeem just ahead of him, splitting them at the moment.
1,000.
Yes.
Between them, very interesting.
And Big C, well, we know he's quick here. He won this particular race last season and he's had a very good record here in the past. He's actually a 3-time winner at this level at the Circuit of the Americas. Aaron, who's also racing here today, a 2-time winner, and back in season 16, the very familiar name of Ali K was the race winner here.
One of 6 wins that season as well.
Yes, I think that was the season where Ali K had that infamous incident in Germany, which sort of derailed his title bid, if I'm remembering right. But Ali K really pushed Big C that season.
Mentally as well.
So less than half a second between the top 5. 2 of the top 5 former PSGL F1 champions, Big C and XJackLacey. So likes of Cliffy and Ashbest, they won't really want to be dropping below such quick drivers as them in terms of the grid. But Ashbest setting the early pace at this stage with just over 5 minutes of session to go. What are your impressions so far?
I definitely think that Ash has got a lot more time in the bag, but he won't be happy with the pace that Cliffy's come with in qualifying. He looks much better than compared to what he's been showing recently. He wants Cliffy to be as far down as possible, but anything could happen really. We've got a lot of people who are capable of bringing out a good lap in qualifying, like Jack, Big C, even people such as Rico, we've seen put it up there on a very regular basis.
So Josh, if you check the race director, it seems like quite a few of the drivers have had invalidations. Is that the case?
Yeah, AMS has. Skeevan obviously crashed, and Lickle invalidated as well. It's only 2 drivers so far. I think Maxi isn't at a lap yet.
Maxi's just started a lap.
Yeah, Maxi's the only one who hasn't.
After announcing his departure from Cliffy has decided he'll be going with Lord next season. So that's a very interesting team pairing.
Yeah, it's a very left field choice. Let's hope Lordy Boy doesn't get another 4-race ban next season, otherwise they're not going to have much hope in the constructors, are they?
I think Cliffy's going with Lordy's experience. Lordy is a very experienced driver. Good. It's one of the, you know, if you look at race wins after Big C and Aaron, he's up there on the grid. I think he's 3rd or 4th. Yeah.
4 race wins overall, which is very good, to be fair.
So that's why Cliffy's picked him, I think.
Maxi invalidated his lap, by the way, on this one.
Yep, I did see he did cut a few of the corners, probably at the S's I think he invalidated it. JD's on an out lap as well. Most of the grid in the pit lane, nobody opting for the super soft tyre, so nobody looking for the different strategy. I actually don't know what the weather is going to be for the race, so I'll try and find that out. Little blocks on an out lap as well. So in terms of the Constructors' Championship, neither the number 2 drivers in terms of the standings, Lickle or Maxi, setting a representative time so far, so that could have an effect, because although Mercedes look odds-on favourites to win the Constructors here in this race, Haas have been so strong in the second half of the season. If Mercedes, you know, screw it up, you can definitely rely on the Haas team to get a big bunch of points to take it to the final round in Japan.
Yep, and Maxi, he'll be starting last. He's just got back in the pits, so that's unfortunate for him, but Lewis isn't here, is he? That's interesting. I didn't realise that he's not here.
Neither is Shortbread.
He's embarrassed maybe after his moment last week.
Yes, well, he refused to speak to the press after that incident, just as he did in Italy, so he hasn't got a good relationship with the press, and clearly not of the Haas team, failing to show up, or maybe he was caught at the Mexican border or something. But that does mean that if Lewis is not here, then essentially both Mercedes would have to DNF or have a terrible result, and Lickle win the race to keep the Constructors' battle alive. So a bit of a shame that Lewis isn't here tonight, because he actually, with his pace, could have had a real effect on the battle between Ash and Cliffy.
AMS goes second, 32.9.
Oh, that is a fantastic lap from the Red Bull driver, and that shows the evolution of the track is coming into play as the skies begin to darken a little bit. Although I don't think we're going to see any rain.
Nah, definitely not. And I think the cooler conditions suit this game. I think the maximum time we'll be seeing for pole is a 32.3, and Cliffy, he started his final run. So if you want to take us through this.
Indeed. So Maxi, as you mentioned, didn't have enough time to get back out, so that's 2 drivers who have finished. So Cliffy, this could be the most important lap of the season. If he can jump over Ashbest, then that could be so vital for his season. Yellow flags though ahead of him, and JD, I think it may have crashed somewhere, but I can't see his car.
He's off the track. He's on the grass,
Yeah, he's just pulled off. But 8th place for JD, that's pretty decent from the Williams driver. HELLBOY in 7th, so actually Williams having a pretty decent qualifying session right now. So Cliffy is ahead of Big C on track, and Ashbest is starting a lap as well. So we're going to keep on board with Cliffy for the time being, and then we will switch to Big C and then Ashbest, because I think that one of those 3, and maybe Oogie as well, could leap above AMS to challenge Ashbest's time.
Cliffy and Big C have matched each other in the first sector.
Lickle blocks. Whoa, Lickle blocks. That is a spanner in the works. Lickle blocks with a fantastic time. 1:32.839. I do hope they change that purple text in the next game, because sometimes it literally merges with the background. But here comes Cliffy heading towards the final sections of corners. Seems to have much more confidence in the car, unlike some of the previous races, but will it be good enough for a front row, let alone pole position? Heads to the line, and it is. It's a 1:32.508, over 2/10 quicker. Now we will switch to Big C, because he is the next over the line. The car swerves around the corner, he goes 3rd. Can Ashbest respond? He is at the hairpin early on the lap, so he's on the DRS.
He's close to finishing his lap.
Yeah, we will look at Oogie and then switch back. XJackLacey moves up to 8th, so he's pushing the Williams down. Big C, Cliffy, both finished. Does Lickle go for another lap, or would he be happy with that?
XJackLacey crossing the line, 2nd.
P2.
XJackLacey's up to P2.
P2 for XJackLacey. This is a very competitive qualifying session. What about Oogie? Oogie crosses the line and goes 2nd himself. So Force India 2 and 3, but what can Ashbest do?
He's challenging Cliffy. His sector times are almost parallel to his. So can he get the upper hand on the championship leader?
Well, if he can get on the front row, oh, what a start to the race we're going to have at one of the trickiest turn 1s in the Canada. Uphill, very unusual turn 1, but not turn 1, the last corner for Ashbest. Can he take pole position in the penultimate race? He does! By nearly 3/10 of a second. Ashbest, have that, says Ashbest to his championship rival, but he will start on the front row, and this is exactly what the viewing public wanted to see.
And the worrying thing is, he said this is his weakest track. Oh dear.
But Cliffy doing exactly what he needed to do. He couldn't afford to let Ashbest have any cars between himself. So there's your qualifying. So Ashbest taking it by nearly 3/10. Cliffy in 2nd, Oogie in 3rd, XJackLacey in 4th, Lickle in 5th, Big C in 6th, but watch out for him, he's very fast around here. AMS 7th, Paudie in 8th, HELLBOY in 9th, and JD in 10th. So a good qualifying session for Williams, not so much for the Renault boys. They're in 12th and 13th. And Skeevan and Maxi at the back of the grid. So they're 2 fast drivers to watch out for. They could challenge for points later on and play a factor, especially if they go on the harder compounds.
Yeah, degradation's quite high around here, so I imagine Iran and Joel will be seen by the race leaders at one point. Dry race.
Well, bright sunshine, so I really wanted to see a fully dry race, because I want to see this whole grid pushing hammer and tong the entire race, but we shall see. Less than 30 seconds to go. 21 watching, and if you enjoy this broadcast, please leave a like. That would be much appreciated to help the growth of this channel. But right now, Ashbest versus Cliffy on the front row. This could be the defining turn 1 of the season if they make any sort of contact. But hopefully everyone gets through clean at the start. So here come the 5 red lights. Looking out on the gantry. Lights down, away we go in the United States. It's a good start. A good start from Ash. Cliffy as well. Oogie gets massive oversteer behind, and he's dropped already. And contact between XJackLacey and I think that's Lickle behind. But look at that, great start from the front 2. And will they go on and dominate this race from here? But very And look at this, sweeping through the S's. This is one of my favourite camera views in the game. And they all appear to get through safely, so fantastic stuff. Back on board with Ashbest at the front as we get the timing screens back on. Doesn't appear to be any major incidents so far, but look, Cliffy dropping slightly back from Ashbest immediately, and he may be under attack from XJackLacey. What do you think of that start, Greeny?
Well, it's a disastrous start for Oogie. He's down from 3rd to 6th. Big C is well losing positions, but I think it's the start that we wanted, really.
Oh, and Aaron is out of the race.
Oh.
An early retirement already. Oh, what a shame.
He collided with Maxi. He collided
HELLBOY
with
and Big
Maxi.
C side by side on the main straight.
A lot of action. Oh my God! Look at 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's very close there, and
yeah, the two Williams making contact.
Side by side.
So through sector 3 they go. Oh, and JD showing no mercy to his teammate. And why not? They're not battling for anything in particular except being the number one at Williams.
Paudie up the inside of Lordy Boy behind them.
But look at that HELLBOY trying to go around the outside of his teammate.
My God. What are
JD will have the inside for the final corner, so good stuff from the midfield so far. But let's go back to the front. Race order then. Lap 2, Ashbest, Cliffy, XJackLacey, Little Blocks, AMS, and Cliffy under attack from XJackLacey in the Force India, Lickle in 4th. So at the moment, Mercedes on to win the Constructors' Championship, which was always very likely once we found out Lewis was not going to race tonight. But XJackLacey, oh, I think he might have got a warning just there in the S's. All 4 wheels over the white lines.
MaxiLuca's in the pits for a wing change, which suggests him and Aaron made contact.
Yeah, he was on the straight, I think. So definitely some maybe cycle glitch or some dodgy driving.
So Big C dropping to 7th. Oogie losing 3 places. He was a big loser from the top 10. But can Oogie come back at him at all? But yeah, the grid's sort of settling a little bit at this stage. So nearly a second between the top 2. And XJackLacey certainly putting under threat. Oogie now having a little look at AMS's Red Bull, and then behind I think that's Skeevan who's looking for a move, and yeah, he goes for a dive down the inside of his teammate Paudie and Skeevan. Lots of wheel-to-wheel combat between teammates so far in this race. So Skeevan moves up to 11th with a nice move around Paudie. So he's looking for points already. Up next, Lordy Boy. But let's have a look at Cliffy. Is he under pressure still from the Force India? The top 3 really dropping Lickle already, so they're showing impressive pace, all 3. Cliffy still maintaining. Oh, and Ashbest, the back end slipping a bit. DRS enabled by race control.
Yeah, that's some respectable times. Oogie looks like he's been hampered. And oh, JD pits, that's very early, but yeah, Oogie looks like he's been hampered by AMS's pace. And as you said, Lickle's dropping back, so the top 3 got some very quick
wing change for JD, wing change for JD. So.
Yep, so the second wing change of the race. I suspect he may have done that when he was battling hard with HELLBOY. So Cliffy's still in DRS range, and actually he did a better job of the S's. He's managed to drop XJackLacey temporarily, but they're all in DRS range of each other.
He's just dropped out. That could be crucial. I think the DRS detection point is just gone now. So we'll see if he gets DRS.
Yeah, 16 points.
His DRS.
Indeed, he is. Let's have a look at XJackLacey's straight line speed. For some reason, I can't change camera at the moment. And there we go. There you go. Back into play. So, Oogie having a look at AMS again. No change on the front. Oh, there looks like there's a battle in the background between Lordy Boy. Yeah, Skeevan looking to move into the points. Which he. Oh, and can Lordy Boy come back at him? Round the outside, we've seen some very nice midfield battles so far.
Oh, wing damage from Lordy.
Yeah, I saw Pier of the end plate come off. Yep, look, half the wing missing. And look, Paudie trying to take both on the inside. That's an ambitious move.
And Joelianomanu using his experience to go around the outside of Paudie there.
And he might take Lordy Boy as well around the outside, because he's got no wing damage. And yes, look at that, down the inside, contact made. Brilliant racing from Joel to take 3 places in the space of a few corners. So Joel, all that experience, that was a fantastic little moment for him. Into the points goes the Renault driver, trying to restore some pride after Aaron's unfortunate retirement. But now we need to focus on the battle for the championship. So as it stands at the moment, Ashbest will cut the championship lead for the final round next week in Japan to 4 points. 4-point difference between finishing first and second. 16 points for Ashbest he would get, and 12 for Cliffy. And now nearly 1.5 seconds between the top two. So Cliffy, you know, he's not exactly miles slower than Ashbest, but he's not quite got the same pace as Ashbest at the moment.
Yeah, he made a mistake into turn one, went a little bit deep and lost about 3 tenths in the first sector as a consequence, and now he's got a lot of catching up to do if he wants to get in that DRS.
Yeah, Oogie looking again to try and make a move on AMS, but hasn't quite got the straight line speed. AMS didn't have the DRS.
Yeah, Big C just patiently waiting behind these, I think. Maybe saving some fuel and tyres. We know he won this race despite being third after the start, so the undercut is very crucial around here. The soft tyre is the preferred tyre to go onto at the pit stop.
Oh, JackLacey picks up a 3-second time penalty just at the penultimate corner, so that's going to help Cliffy and Ashbest in their bid to finish on the top two. So the top three have really dropped the rest. 2.5 second gap now between JackLacey and Lickle. So Lickle now being caught by AMS, Oogie and Big C, so we could see a really good scrap between those four soon, so I'm going to have a look at them, but I just want to see how JackLacey handles the S's, see if he can close onto the back of that Mercedes.
Yeah, it's pretty early on to get a penalty round here, so that's not very good news for Jack. He's still got 23 laps after this to go, so I imagine we'll at least have another penalty to that. And Joe gets a 3-second penalty as well.
Yes, and unfortunately we've had a disconnect from Skeevan, and hopefully that won't cause the strip swing glitch, because otherwise it's going to be difficult for in the straight line. But actually JackLacey got a better run out of the hairpin. He is closing up to Cliffy. In fact, he's closing up very much. I think there was a little bit of a lag from Cliffy just then, but probably not Cliffy himself.
Paudie challenging Joel on this lap.
Let's have a quick look at then. Joel going defensive. Paudie go for a lunge down the inside.
He's weaker from what I can see, which isn't good.
Yeah, don't forget Joel is on the soft compound, so strategically he might come back into it later, although he's quite a long way behind HELLBOY. HELLBOY running a very decent position right now, 8th place. That would be one of his better results of the season if he gets that.
Yeah, Lickle's definitely holding up Oogie, Big C and AMS, because AMS has got a decent run out of part of the corner, slipstream and DRS. Will he go for the move like Danny Rickens turn one?
Oh yeah, he had half a look about it, but I think he's going to try and force the less experienced Lickle into a mistake. So this is the main battle on track at the moment. JackLacey still a few tenths behind, so once I get through the S's, we'll have a look at JackLacey, see if he can challenge at all. It's now 2 seconds between the top two. So Ashbest certainly showing the race pace once again.
Yeah, and I think we're coming into sort of the first pit stop territory. If we're doing a 2-stop, now is the time you want to pit for the undercut. And Maxi, what's happened?
Maxi out of the race.
No, he's just retired.
Well, so that opens the door slightly, but yeah, he has called it a day. But JackLacey now, DRS open again, but let's focus on Lickle, because I think that's realistically going to be more of a battle there. And look at this, Big C and Oogie behind, going side by side, at least for a moment, in the battle for 6th. So we get a nice shot here on the camera.
Oh, lovely helicopter shot.
Yeah. We'll get a perfect view of this fantastic sweeping corner, somewhat based on the turn 8 at Turkey. It's one of the best corners on the track. And there are many great corners, although, you know, this track's unashamedly on Cliffy pits.
Interesting. What will he go on to?
Is it going to be softs or super softs? Let's see.
Looks like ultras.
Ultra softs for Cliffy. No,
supers.
Super softs. So, is that a 2-stop strategy for Cliffy then?
Yep. No, it is ultra soft. It is ultra soft.
Wow. Okay.
Definitely a 2-stop then. That is aggressive. I like it. That's going to spice up this race certainly.
Indeed. Well, he's thinking he's got to try something different rather than just follow Ash around. and then try and give him some space to XJackLacey. But if he's unlucky with the traffic, that could really compromise him. He's got 4-second gap to Paudie, which I'm sure he'll close up fairly quickly, being on the fresher rubber. He's going to have to clear some cars, which will be difficult with the reduced slipstream.
Only Joel is on the harder compound, so most of the others should pit by the time he catches up, actually.
Yes, that is a good point.
Okay.
With JD, Lordy and Skeevan, well, Skeevan disconnected, of course. Lordy and JD making pit stops for wing changes, so they won't be an issue.
Yeah, Cliffy's gaining a lot of time just on corner exits, really, because the traction is very key around here. That's why the tyres go off so fast. There's so many traction zones, especially with the off traction, makes it much more difficult.
Well, Lickle coping very well with the pressure of having so many talented drivers right behind him. He's keeping ahead of AMS, Oogie and Big C, which is no mean feat. Let's see if any of these drivers will decide to pit.
Joel, they're very, very close on track in the final sector.
So Oogie pits. His teammate, though, stays out, interestingly. Cliffy's already close to within a second of Paudie and Joel. So let's have a quick look at Cliffy, just to see what his progress is like. He's obviously going to jump Oogie comfortably, because he was a few seconds down the road even before he pitted. So now Cliffy, this is the problem he's got. Joel, he's not going to be pitting anytime soon, because he's been on the softs since the start of the race, having started outside the top 10. Disappointing qualifying for Renault, but now he's got... Oh, Cliffy. Paudie really messed up the S's and he's squeezed through. That's a fighting move from Cliffy, but he judged that perfectly, because Cliffy had an awful part of the second part of the S's, and that could easily, in fact, Cliffy just smashed into the back of him, and that would have been his race totally compromised.
He's already gained 2 seconds on the outlap on Ashbest, so he's gaining a lot of time in the undercut.
A hard person to get past, though. Let's see.
Yeah, he's got the straight line speed, though, even with the DRS as well. I think Cliffy's going to get the move done here, and he does. How much time has he lost, though, getting past those 2 cars? That will be the interesting question. Will he be able to undercut Ashbest? And what if Ashbest is going long, then will he be going onto the softs for a one-stop? I suspect he would be.
He's stared out again. He's staying out.
So Cliffy's got to really put in some of the best laps of the season in terms of race pace. Lickle and AMS come in at the same time, so let's see who wins the pit battle here. What does AMS go on to? Super softs or softs?
Yeah.
Softs for Lickle as well. Does he get out? Yes, he does. So Lickle maintains his position.
Oh, it's going to be close to Oogie on the exit. I think Oogie's got them both. Yes, he has, and we know that Oogie's got the best tyre.
Contact with Lickle. Oh, Oogie won't be happy about that. And now he's got the Red Bull of AMS right behind him. Well, Oogie, he'll be furious with that. Lickle did not show any quarter there. Yellow says one. HELLBOY out of the race. So, yeah, he's crashed at the S's, and that is a miserable day continued for the Williams team, having qualified so well.
AMS is very close to Oogie.
Yeah, Oogie is on the softs as well. He's on the super softs on my screen.
No, he is. He is super softs, I think.
Just to let you know that Cliffy has gained 6 seconds already on Ash. Jesus Christ, that is a huge undercut.
It is a huge undercut.
He stayed out. He's just handing Cliffy the victory, I think. I mean, Cliffy's going to go into those super softs at the end. He's going to be absolutely flying. Unless Ash is trying to extend this to go to the supers himself.
Yeah, but he's going to be undercut so massively. Is he going to be able to regain time? Big C, he pits lap 10 of the 28 lap PSGL F1 race. What a lap. 1:36.0 flat from Cliffy. Big C, he goes onto the softs as well. And Lickle and Oogie will get ahead of him. Where does Big C come out? Comes out behind AMS, so hasn't really staying out longer, hasn't really gained much, but he'll have better tyre wear at the end. So 9th place for the 7-time PSGL F1 champion at the moment.
Ashbest. Nothing can separate Paudie and Joel, it seems, on track.
No, they're having a very good battle at the moment. But, you know, if Joel stays out a lot longer, the likes of Lickle, Oogie and AMS, they might, you know, find it quite difficult to get past Joel being on the same tyres.
I also imagine they'll defend them quite hard because they'll be racing them, really. If they have to make another pit stop in case something happens, then Joel will have the fresher tyres. They'll be pitted earlier as well.
Cliffy is close to within 10 seconds of Ashbest on track, so when Ashbest does eventually pit, Cliffy's going to have an enormous advantage.
He gained 3.4 seconds in the last lap alone, Cliffy on Ashbest. That's the difference in
Ash pits, ooh, went in a bit late, but he got it right. XJackLacey pits as well, but Cliffy already rounding the final corner.
Wow.
Jack has gained on Ash after all of this.
Ash's last few laps on his tyres were really slow, actually. I was looking at the timings.
Softs for Ashbest and XJackLacey, but will anyone else jump XJackLacey and Ashbest, I wonder? Joel has, although he hasn't pitted, of course. Lickle right behind XJackLacey, so that undercut nearly working brilliantly for the Haas driver. But now Joel is between Ashbest and Cliffy, so if Joel can hold up Ashbest, Cliffy can make this 2-stop work for sure.
Yep, Ash on the soft tyres, which is quite interesting. Don't know why he stayed out so long then. Probably would have gone for super soft, personally.
Yeah, but it'd be quite difficult to get them to the end, given the high rate of tyre wear here. Cliffy will have to be pitting fairly soon, but he will go onto the super soft, so he's going to have a big advantage. Ashbest is going to have to try and use the fresh soft to, you know, try and keep in range. And he'll be hoping when Cliffy does pit, he won't drop behind him, but drop behind XJackLacey instead.
The only problem I see that Cliffy's got is if he pitted now, he will still come out behind Big C, AMS and Kerr, so he's got to get a sizable advantage on them before he pits.
Yeah, he's going to be pitting, I'd say 17 or 18, or maybe 16. But so he's got a few laps left, but yeah, he's got to put in lap after lap, which is great. Ashbest already on the back of Joel though, and he's going to make a move. And that is a comfortable move. Joel didn't have the tyres really to defend, and Ashbest with a well executed overtake at turn 1, up to second. Just under 9 seconds behind his championship rival.
So when Cliffy pits, he'll have a handful of cars to overtake, and 10 seconds you'd imagine to close down on Ash to take the victory.
Yes. I think Cliffy's going to need more time to the likes of XJackLacey, well, more like Lickle. Lickle's the one now he's got to look out for, because at the moment he's going to drop behind XJackLacey as well.
Yeah, at the moment he'll drop into P8, just behind Big C.
Well, as Cliffy made a critical error here with his strategy, we will find out in the next few laps, I feel. So Ashbest's about to complete another lap. Josh, if you could just tell us what lap times Ashbest is doing on the softs when he finishes his next lap and compare it to Cliffy's, that would be very useful. I will come back to you shortly. Because Ashbest now 8.8 seconds. So Cliffy's not exactly dropping him, so those ultrasols might be going off already.
Yeah, he's been on them now for 6 laps, I think it is. He pitted at the end of lap 6. So they'll be dying sort of around now, especially if they're not new. Although it's showing them as new, but I don't know if it shows old tyres on the graphic.
Ashbest was 2 tenths quicker that lap from the softs, actually. Impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it is entirely possible this could be a graphical glitch and he could be on the softs, but I don't think so given the pace he was doing for the fastest lap.
Yeah, and the lap he pitted on as well.
So just to remind everybody watching, Cliffy has to outscore Ashbest by 9 points to win the championship today. Guaranteed, but that's looking not very likely at the moment. No sign of rain to change things either. Bright sunshine in the heart of Texas right now. So strategy wise, the soft runners appear to have got it right at the moment, even though when Cliffy pits onto the super softs, the soft runners will be very slow. But now XJackLacey has got past Joel, but can Joel come back at him?
No, I don't think Joel. I think Joel is.
Jack got DRS.
He's just sitting behind.
Jack did a dive up the inside after the detection point, so it's a good move.
So XJackLacey back up to third, which is a net P2 when Cliffy pits. JD still going around there, so I do believe Skeevan hasn't pitted yet. Oh yeah, he's he disconnected. I forgot. So actually Joel, the only person actually here who hasn't pitted, although he just cut the corner there. We'll have a look at penalties shortly. As we reach half distance in this race, it's gone really quickly. It was a great start by both the title contenders, but the difference in strategy is going to be fascinating how it all plays out at the end.
Yeah, since you mentioned about Cliffy needing to gap Lickle, he's gained a second, so he's not gaining enough, but as much as he can get on these ultra softs is what he needs, because he'll inevitably have to overtake all of these, but the closer he is, the easier it'll be.
Yes, indeed, and I think Ashbest at the moment, he doesn't have to push too hard, risk getting penalties. I think that's what he's got to avoid at all costs at this point, because the penalties...
He's got his first warning on this lap, so... I mean, he's gaining time on Cliffy anyway, so he just needs to calm down and stay consistent, I think.
Yeah, Lickle passes Joel for fourth. So will Oogie follow through? So Lickle on for a very good result at the moment. It won't be enough to prevent the Constructors' Championship going to Mercedes, unless of course Cliffy were to have some sort of catastrophic moment, but 8 points wouldn't actually be enough for the Haas team. They need 9, and Mercedes not to score to keep it alive for Japan.
And Paudie's made a move on
Cliffy's
JD.
pitted. Race leader is in the pits.
Cliffy pits then, so he was losing time to Ashbest, so he probably felt like he had no choice. So this will be super soft surely, and it is indeed. Ashbest then goes across the line. Now where is Cliffy going to come out? And Joel pits as well, so that'll be one less card to deal with. XJackLacey goes by, and I think Oogie will get him as well. AMS, and there's Big C. Cliffy's going to have to dive down the inside, but Big C, no. Better traction from the Super Softs. That was crucial to get in front of the 7-time PSGL F1 champion. And now Cliffy, if he's going to win this race, it's going to have to be an extraordinary performance in this second stint, because he's got a lot of overtaking to do. Didn't do a particularly good job of the S's there, so tyres warm up. So Cliffy comes out in 6th position, and AMS will be his first target. So Ashbest leads this race by just under 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, he's gapping Jack, and I think that's quite an early stop for Cliffy. He only did 8 laps on those brand new ultras, so he's got a lot of work to do. 10 seconds a gap.
Yes, and passing like AMS, Oogie, Lickle will not be hard, especially as, you know, Lickle has been under pressure pretty much the entire race and has not yielded to the likes of Oogie, AMS and Big C. So Cliffy is going to have to use those tyres the best he can. Big tyre advantage at this stage.
Do you know if he's setting any purple sectors yet, Josh?
Not yet, because he's just he's not actually. He's obviously just come up pits, so he's just warming up, but nothing spectacular yet.
So Cliffy, he'll be losing the lead of the championship as it stands. But if he can get back into 3rd, he will still be the leader of the championship going into the Japanese Grand Prix in a week's time. So he's already closed onto the back of AMS, so he's got a lot of laps to get it done. But it's one thing to catch up to your opponent, another thing entirely And they're desperate for the points as well to pass them. Through the S's they go then, and you can see the superior grip of the Supersofts, and is Cliffy going to go for a move there? Through the S's, AMS will try and defend, but he hasn't got the grip. Great move from Cliffy.
What a move.
That was
a great move.
Super brave from Cliffy, super aggressive, as he needs to be. His championship is on the line here right now. It could be so important for not just the points, but for the mental battle, if Cliffy can go into the final round leading this championship rather than being behind Ashbest. So he's got past AMS, and now the experienced and wily customer of Oogie Azeem up next.
That is a very unorthodox place to be passing a driver. AMS did fight it quite hard, so yeah. Oh, he's already close off the back of Oogie. He's going defensive. Will he lunge it?
He is going to lunge it.
Oh, he's pushed him off track slightly, but it looks like a fair enough move.
Yeah, well, they had a bit of contact at Monza, so that was a little sort of pushback on that. XJackLacey gets a time penalty as well.
His second penalty. That was,
so second place is on for Cliffy, and maybe the race win. Who knows? There's plenty of laps to go.
AMS got past Oogie as well at the final corner.
And Lickle has pulled off to the side and allowed Cliffy to get through. Well, that's very interesting. But maybe he just doesn't feel like an Oogie and Oogie and AMS have made contact and both wing damage. Vixie up to 5th. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Although on my screen it's showing that AMS has still got his whole front wing, so.
Well, maybe that was all of Oogie's wing, but let's.
Oogie hit the back, yeah.
So maybe there's not much love lost between Lickle and Ashbest, because he's made it very easy for Cliffy there. So now Cliffy has got to get moving and get up to XJackLacey. He's within those 6 seconds though, so at the moment he is running in second place. So the gap will be 4 points in Japan next week. Some good points on offer for the likes of Paudie and Joel, with Oogie now dropping to 9th, and he'll have to pit for a new wing.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Oogie. Obviously we didn't see the incident itself. I'm sure that we'll probably end up seeing it in the stewards.
More than likely, but maybe Oogie was really frustrated after losing that place to Cliffy and tried something at AMS.
I caught the end of it. It looked like Oogie just kind of almost hit the back of AMS. It didn't look like it was a side collision. It looked like Oogie kind of dived up the inside and there was no space. So
yeah, maybe. I only saw the end of it myself because I was focusing on Lickle being overtaken by Cliffy. So Big C up to 5th position, and oh, look at that, Cliffy setting the fastest lap of the race, 1:35.780, lap 18, 11 to go including this one. Ashbest has got the right strategy at the moment. If Cliffy can get these tyres working, he can certainly still win this race, which would be massive for the championship, but he can't push too hard. He's got to avoid penalties.
Yep,
every
he
point.
gained a full second on last lap. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's alright. No interruption at all. So Cliffy less than 3 seconds behind XJackLacey, who XJackLacey's dropping a lot of time to Ashbest, but with those penalties it's kind of irrelevant. As Oogie pits for a wing, let's just see. He's had a very mixed season, Oogie. LordyBoy picks up a penalty. So Oogie on the Supersofts, very fresh Supersofts, so he will be looking to get back into the points, but he's got a lot of time to catch up to JD in 10th.
Yep, he'll probably have to pit again, I imagine, as well, because I think he pitted at the end of lap 2, was it, after a collision between him and HELLBOY?
Yes, you're right. So Oogie comes out 21 seconds behind JD, but yes, if JD pits again, he will gain a place at least, and maybe he can get to LordyBoy as well if he's got better pace than Lordy on the softs, and he has penalties too. So less than 2 seconds between XJackLacey and Cliffy. Well, Cliffy, I'm not sure if he would know about Jack's penalties, but do you think, Luke, he would take second place right now?
I think well, at the start of the race it looked like second was his best bet, unless he did something alternative to Ash. But he's taken a second again out of him on the last lap, so it's not over just yet, especially if Ash gets a penalty. Because we know that Cliffy or Ash don't have a penalty at the moment, but that can easily change, especially with the S's being so easy to cut. So don't count him out just yet.
Indeed. Wait, for a second I thought XJackLacey's right behind Ashbest, but it was no, it was just the ghosting Toro Rosso. So Ashbest still going along finally, 1.2 seconds now. This is certainly the best Cliffy we've seen from him since his amazing form early on in the season. It's been very patchy since the Canadian Grand Prix, which he won, which was his third win of the season. This is Cliffy back to his best, so to speak.
Yeah, Toto Wolff has a massive smile on his face in the garage, I can see. I mean, as Mr. Grumpy said earlier on in the YouTube comments about Cliffy, he said this could be a suicidal strategy if with the slipstream glitching effect, if he gets caught in traffic. But he's actually proved everyone wrong. He did a really good job getting past everyone, and he could challenge Ash now. Very impressive.
Yep, Mercedes have certainly brought the upgrades to Austin, Texas today. Now he is less than a second behind XJackLacey, former PSGL F1 champion, trying to defend from one of the two drivers who are desperate to become the new champion this season.
He didn't gain as much on that last lap. He only gained 7 tenths, so I don't think at that rate he'll be able to catch Ash.
Well, that could be because he's in the dirty air of the Force India now. Be interested to see how much pace he has left, if he can get past XJackLacey, of course.
Yeah, he's really attacking those S's. It looks like he's on the limit of getting a corner cut each time.
To see any other battles on track at the moment. Joel on the super softs is close onto Paudie, so I think after they go through the next set of corners, might have a quick look at Joel, see if he's challenging for 7th place. But we're going to stick with Cliffy. DRS range for the second time. First real attack on XJackLacey coming up. He's got the better straight line speed. Oogie setting a blistering lap, as you'd expect, those fresh super softs. Cliffy, oh, he's having half a look. Just telling XJackLacey, I'm right here, pal.
Yeah, I think one thing that is noticeable is the fact that Cliffy is
Cliffy goes for a move down the inside. The same move he did to the other Force India Oogie, and he gets it done. Very aggressive. Now it's 6.2 seconds to Ashbest. Can he close in on Ashbest's rival and deliver the ultimate blow to Ashbest's championship bid right here?
Does he have the fuel? I mean, he's minus actually. He's dipping between plus and minus, so maybe that's why he's not gaining as much as he used to. Got to save some fuel now.
Yeah, second place at the moment as Joel has passed. And now, Joel, well, to be fair, he's near 11 seconds behind AMS, but 7th would be a brilliant result for Joel, and he's had quietly a really good race with the one-stop strategy. XJackLacey picks up yet another penalty, so it looks like Lickle...
He's going to drop below AMS, I think. He's got 9 seconds worth, so...
At least Lickle as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Cliffy's got a time penalty. 3 seconds, but he won't be under threat with just one, but that may well have cost him any chance of winning the race. He was pushing so hard.
Yeah, and Ash told us in the interviews last week that he knew that he didn't have to pass Lewis or who was it, or Lickle for the victory, so maybe he's listening to the stream again and he knows now that he's got a penalty. Yes,
indeed. Could see Ashbest ease off towards the end of the race to conserve those soft tyres now that he knows that. The McLaren pit wall would have informed him of that penalty, I'm sure, if he is watching that stream. But Cliffy, it doesn't hurt him too much because XJackLacey has so many penalties and Lickle is too far behind him to take advantage. So second place still very much a strong possibility.
JD and LordyBoy are battling for P9 on the main straight now.
And let's see JD perfectly switching to time. Down here's there's been a contact between the Sauber and the Williams. Oh, and JD gets it all wrong, misses the apex completely. Can Lordy come back at him? JD dives back down the inside. This is a great little scrap. JD,
he's got to give it back.
Well, I'm not sure JD's going to, has he pitted again? Yes, he has. He's on the 2-stop strategy. So JD with a very forceful move on LordyBoy, not showing too much kindness to his fellow racer, moves up to 9th.
I don't think he was ever going to give Lordy any space from the outside there, because on the straight beforehand, Lordy closed the door, like fairly, but he did close the door on him, so it's just a bit of hard racing, I think.
Yeah, a bit of tit for tat between the two drivers. Sometimes that happens when you have hard racing like this. There's one thing to remind everybody of: if Ashbest wins the wins the race here, it is impossible for Cliffy to win the championship on a tie because of Ashbest's superior win record. So that means if this result were to be repeated in Japan, which would close the gap to 0-0 between them, Ashbest would be the champion.
I mean, would this be his 5th or 4th victory in a row now? I think this will be his 5th in a row.
Well, according to this, it would be his 4th victory in a row and his 6th of the season. Oh. He has been by far the best driver in the last 3 races.
I mean, I feel sorry for everybody else in the grid because they're not doing anything wrong. I think they're just coming up against one of the most informed people PSGL has seen since Big C's storm to 7 titles.
Big C, talking of Big C, he's caught up to Lickle at the moment, so...
Well, let's have a little look at Big C then. Haven't seen too much of him in this race, but he's been sort of quietly going about his business. Hasn't really had the pace unlike last season when he won here to win again here today. He's probably just trying to get decent points. Ferrari on to hit the 100-point mark with Big C's result here. Shortbread, his teammate, not here incidentally tonight. Another of the absentees.
Well, he's already got 1 position guaranteed with Jack's 9 seconds worth of penalties. So if he gets past Lickle, that's a podium.
It is indeed. That's a very good point. So yeah, because of XJackLacey's penalties, as you mentioned, this is indeed the battle for the final podium position. So Big C's record this season, 2 victories, 1 on Australia and Monaco. And Lickle's record, he's got 2 podiums this season, 1 at Canada and 1 at Brazil. And last week at Mexico, of course. So Big C making a move on Lickle. Round the outside he tries, but Lickle's got the inside. Can Big C get the switch back? No. Well defended there. Oh, Big C going for a lunge down the inside. Slight contact from the left-hand side of Big C's car. This is sort of the old guard versus the new guard here for the podium.
Big C has got just the 1 lap fresh tyres. So that might explain why he's been able to catch up to Lickle.
Yeah, let's have a look at their fuel. Big C plus 65, plus 32 for Lickle. So Big C has a little bit more to play with, a bit more rich reps available.
Will he go for the... He tried it last lap, will he go for it this lap? Lickle sort of half defends it.
Yeah, I think Big C, he was never really going for it then. Just trying to force Lickle into a mistake in the S's. Bit out of shape, Lickle. He's not got the best line through the S's. Recovers it well, to be fair to him, though. So Ashbest, just 5.5 second gap to Cliffy. I think Cliffy may have turned the engine down a little bit just to take the result. I think that penalty probably accepted the fact he wasn't going to win the race after that. Joel picks up a time penalty. That's unlucky for him, because that will probably cost him some place. Switching back to Big C. Lickle goes defensive very late. Big C, this is a much stronger attack from him this time. Lickle. Big C gets the switch back. Will Lickle try and squeeze him off? Oh, it's a clever change of direction from Big C, which nearly caught Lickle off guard, but Lickle, to his credit, defending that very well.
Yeah, he's not what's the word? Okay, we think.
Lap 25 of this PSGL F1 Grand Prix. Ashbest looking to win his 4th win in a row, which will guarantee we will have a title decider at Suzuka next week, which will be a must-watch race for everybody in the PSGL community. Cliffy running in second, doing what he needs to do to make sure he leads the championship in Suzuka. But this is the main battle on track. But Lickle has actually dropped 10 seconds behind XJackLacey. So actually XJackLacey is now back in position to get that final podium.
It's going to be very difficult for Big C with the lack of slipstream, I think, to get past. Lickle's very aggressive and good defending, so...
Yeah, Lickle struggling through the S's. This will give Big C a chance to close up again. let's hope it's settled on track, because Lico has been involved in some controversy in some of the early rounds this season. He has defended really well from several drivers the entire race. Yes, the lack of slipstream has helped him, but still has to get the job done.
Well, we saw he got pretty close to making the move last lap, so he's got good straight line speed, but he's standing the dummy.
Oh, and Lickle with a very late change of direction. Slightly naughty from Lickle, have to say. The Big C runs wide. But he'll have the inside for the next corner. But Lickle actually getting better traction. But yeah, that was rather dangerous from Lickle. Very late move. But luckily, Big C somewhat saw it coming.
And Oogie Azeem has passed Lordy.
Yeah, Oogie into the points. Oogie should get that because Boy's got plenty of penalties. I think Oogie's only got 3 seconds, I believe. It was JP literally said Lickle's wheel to wheel was improving, and then Lickle literally did that a second later. But AMS, incidentally, has caught up to both of these drivers, so he could still get some good points here.
Lickle's really holding Big C up at the moment. I mean, Jack's filling a gap, so...
Yeah, JackLacey will finish on the podium. If he can confirm, does Jack still only have 9 seconds of penalties?
Yes. Yes, he does.
And at the rate these two are battling, he could probably afford another penalty, so...
Yeah, you're not wrong. Lickle...
He's 3 warnings away, so...
Lickle's pace has really dropped off in this second sim. This is why Big C has closed back on him again. So to go on to the DRS straight again, this huge long straight, one of the most common overtaking zones on the Circuit of Americas. Lickle goes defensive much earlier this time, much more safely. Big C will switch to the outside once again, looking for the switchback. Big C trying to use every trick in the book, every ounce of his experience to get past this young Haas hotshot. It's getting tense here. AMS probably has popcorn dispenser right now just to see if anything is going to happen between the two drivers ahead of him.
I mean, if he's going to go for the move in that corner, he's got to commit to it.
Yeah, lap 27, penultimate lap then. But this is the main battle for 4th place, which is now a three-way battle, because AMS is going to join in on the party. Big C, without the slipstream, it's going to be difficult for him. He did have straight line speed, but you know, Lickle just has to put it on the inside. It makes it very difficult for Big C in sector 2, the end of sector 2 anyway.
And interestingly, this will be the first podium for Jack since Silverstone.
It would indeed. JackLacey, brilliant drive that day, where he pushed Lewis W03 all the way for the win, and that was another race affected by the slipstream glitch, unfortunately. Where you can see the front end grip of Lickle, that's the problem. He's really struggling.
Good exit though for Lickle. It's going to be difficult for Big C. He's going to have to sell on the dummy like he tried the other lap.
Don't think Big C's close enough for a move here. He's getting a little close. He's going to have a little look, try and force Lickle into a mistake. One more lap to go. Ashbest, I believe, is about to start the final lap of the race. Rounds the final corner, but let's go back to Big C.
Oh, Oogie's just made a move on JD. Brilliant move there. Bob firmly in the garage, just clapping his head off next to me. So very happy with that. It was a good move.
Indeed, he would be. So Oogie having that into AMS, you know, Oogie could have been right here in this battle. Big C runs wide. Will that open the door to AMS behind? AMS closes in. So final lap of this PSGL US Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season. And Lickle blocks defending hard from Big C. They will have to switch to Ashbest soon just to see him take the victory.
Will it be all or nothing from Big C on the final lap?
He's in the dirty air of the Haas, so he's doing a decent job, and actually that's the best S section Lickle's done, but still not quite what you would like.
Oh, what a run for Big C. If he gets a good exit, the ones that
is he going to go for a move down the hairpin?
Close.
Oh, Lickle goes defensive. AMS is right there.
It's a good exit.
It's a very good exit from Big C. Ashbest heading towards the end of this race. But Big C now. Lickle goes defensive again. Oh, they touch wheels. And they touch again.
Oh.
Where is Ashbest right now? Ashbest heading towards the final few corners. Ashbest already celebrating. Let's hope he doesn't do a Frizzo doing that sort of thing. But Ashbest will take another victory this season to cut the lead to 4 points. Cliffy takes second. XJackLacey will take third. But let's go on board with Big C. Has he got one more move in him to get past Lickle? Big C has a little look, but Lickle holds on and takes 4th place. It's a great result for Lickle. Big C 5th, AMS in 6th. Let's go on board with the race winner. What a drive from Ashbest. He might have been a bit spooked by Cliffy's 2-stop, but he just went about his business and showed really good pace on the softs to prevent Cliffy from using that strategy effectively. So that is...
Joel's got a strong P8 towards the back of the midfield. That's a good result for Renault.
Oogie in 9th, and JD will take a point for Williams. For Ashbest, that's his 6th win of the season.
4 in a row. Is it?
It is indeed. JD in 10th. We're going to wait for Lordy Boy to finish. That'll be the end of this race. Hope you all enjoyed that race. There was some really good midfield action. It's just a shame once again the slitching glitch affected the overtaking, but I still think it was a very entertaining race, if not as dramatic as Mexico last week.
Yeah, and with all the battling, they lost 7 seconds to Jack. So the battle for the podium wasn't quite a battle for the podium in the end.
I think so. Well, I tell you what, if Cliffy and Ashbest are on the front row for Japan next week, I think everybody is going to be on the edge of their seat. So we are halfway through the season. No one would have expected the championship to go to the final round of the season. But thanks to the amazing efforts of Ashbest, we are going to get a title decider for the 2nd season in a row. Ashbest versus Cliffy at Suzuka. Lordy Boy still hasn't finished, incidentally. Is he doing donuts or something?
He's just coming around the final corner now. He's got a puncture, actually. A rear left puncture.
Oh.
So.
Well, Lordy Boy, another race to forget for the Sauber team. Hopefully better things in Suzuka next week and indeed next season. So, we will get our podium. And 2 familiar faces on it. The top 2 in the championship take the top 2 here. But it is Cliffy who will take a 4-point lead into the final round at Suzuka next week. But it's Ashbest who takes the race win today. XJackLacey, mentioned him as well, had a pretty good race today, his 4th podium of the season, and that will that lift him above Big C in the table? No, not quite, but it will lift him above no, actually won't lift him above anything because AMS scored points as well. So but XJackLacey will be pleased with that. There's your result then. 9 seconds of penalties for XJackLacey. Didn't affect his position there. Lickle in 4th, very good effort from him, even if some of the defending was a little aggressive. Big C in 5th, AMS in 6th, Paudie in 7th, Joe in 8th, Oogie in 9th, JD in 10th. So if you could invite the top 3 for us, that'd be great, Greeny.
Yep, I've invited them.
I think for me, Cliffy and Joel were the drivers of the day. I think obviously Ash dominated and was brilliant, but I think Cliffy's very important to get past all those drivers for on his alternate strategy.
Yeah, some of those overtakes were in sort of unexpected positions, especially that move through the S's on AMS. So it was a real champion's drive. If he ends up winning the championship, that could be the sort of moments that gets him the crown.
And Joel gained the most positions of all drivers. He gained 5 from his good spot, using all his experience. So good result for Renault.
Yeah, indeed. Aaron will be absolutely delighted with that result for his teammate, who his race ended on the first lap, unfortunately.
His first retirement of the season.
It is indeed a sad end. Right then, so for those watching, Greeny, if you can take away the podium interviews.
Yep, so well done to Ash, Cliffy and Jack. So would you like to sum up your emotions for us, Ash, after winning your 4th race in a row and 6th for the season?
I mean, like, heading into here, I was not confident. I mean, my confidence did boost up after seeing my quali pace, but then after seeing my tire wear in the race, I was literally like, nah, this is not gonna work. But then after some differential adjustment mid-race and well, just lowering it down after several laps, I managed to get the tires to the end on myself like 70% at the end. So I'm really happy, and heading into Japan, I love Japan. So if I can win there, it's gonna be amazing.
Yep, absolutely. And as for you, Cliffy, you pulled off the 2-stop strategy. You didn't have enough in the tank, unfortunately, to challenge Ash for the victory, but you still hold the lead going into Japan.
Yeah, so I'm still in my ball, still in my call. Also tried to 2-stop today. I knew the 1-stop and 2-stop were very close. But when I got that penalty, I knew it was game over, so I just decided to get the car home. So at that point, Ash didn't have any penalties, so you know, I thought there's no point trying to push to get more penalties and lose more points. So yeah, I mean, Japan also a track that I'm sort of not really good at, but you know, I'm definitely going to put in some practice and hopefully beat Ash.
Yep, absolutely. And Jack, you got 9 seconds of penalties, but the podium was the priority, and you managed to achieve that. So congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, didn't drive my best. 9 penalties was pretty bad. But yeah, I had a 15-second gap between Nickel anyway. But yeah, not really anything to say about that race. Pretty boring race, really. Not really happy about the Cliffy overtake that he did on me, but I'm sure it wasn't intentional. Yeah, afraid to say.
Yep, you can ask any questions now, Venom?
Yes, so first of all, to Cliffy and Ashbest, it's going to go down to the wire in Japan next week, which is, in the great tradition of Formula 1, Japan has many times in the real sport been the location for a title decider. So, Ashbest, your thoughts in terms of not Japan, which you mentioned as one of your favourite tracks, but in terms of the title battle, what will be your approach to it? Are you just going to have to go and give it everything?
Yeah, well, first off, I'll make sure I don't get Senna into turn 1, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to literally put in practice, just going to practice even more than usual, just to be extra short, because you can never know what happens in the finale of a title battle, and I'm just going to plan to be as fast as possible and just give it my all.
And Cliffy, you know now that because of Ashbest's superior win record, you can't win the championship if you finish in second and he wins the race next week. So, in terms of the approach, you've got to have, in some theory, a similar approach to Ashbest. You've got to give everything. You can't be cautious next week.
No, I can't. Obviously, the last couple of races, I've sort of tried to step up a little bit, and you know, people saying, you know, I'm in bad form and I'm not really on it, but you know, you'll see by the results, I'm still picking up podium finishes. So, yeah, I'm just gonna try and do as much practice as I can. Obviously, you know, work commitments and that are gonna play a huge part, but I'll just try my best and see what happens.
But do you think...
I've got a question for Jack, sorry. After this one, you carry on.
Yeah, just one more question for Cliffy. Cliffy, do you feel that you were back to your best today, given that you made the 2-stop strategy work to get on the podium?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, second place is my highest finish in 3 or 4 races now, so I mean, you can tell I put the practice in just by my pace, and I know I was on quicker tyre for most of my stints, but yeah, I just felt that, you know, the 2-stop was better, and obviously the pace showed that, and just want to say sorry to Jack as well for the overtake. I just went for it and didn't really know or mean to hit you that hard and almost fall off track.
Over to you, Greeny.
I think Josh, do you want to ask a question for Jack?
Oh, Josh, sorry, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's alright. First of all, Cliffy, you were my driver of the day. I thought you did a very good job, so well done. And yeah, for Jack, halfway through the race, I was speaking to Natalie Pinkham in the pit lane, and she was informing me, I'm not sure how she knows, but she was telling me there's rumours going around that you and a certain 7-time champion might be teaming up next season. Do you want to make any comments about this?
I'm not teaming up with that sap.
But there you have it, straight up no for him.
There we go. It's Sky Sports exclusive in here. There we go.
Contract negotiations still pending, I guess. But congratulations to the top 3, and we are going to end it there. So thanks to everybody who's been watching this stream tonight, and we will see you in a week's time at Suzuka for what will truly be a dramatic finale between 2 of the best drivers on the grids. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.